Patients to be stretched a little bit. We're about at the halfway point right now. From this point on, we're going to have Professor LeBert speak, then I'll speak, and we'll enjoy food. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Professor Tom LeBert.
Hello. We'll be talking about my class, which is Financial Economics 588. I also teach in the spring Financial Economics 589. I'm going to talk about the purpose of the class, and I'm going to talk about the CFA designation, because they do dovetail together. And I'm just curious, how many people in the room have heard about the CFA designation, or know what it stands for, or anything about it? Just have a handful? Well, the CFA Institute, the CFA designation, and what you'll find is all of these slides and my syllabus is inside what Matthew handed out. We're about the midway point. You can either follow. CFA designation stands for Chartered Financial Analyst. And this is their statement. To lead investment profession globally by setting the highest standards of ethics, education, and professional education. The CFA designation has become a necessity for attainment of career growth, career attainment in our industry, in the investment management industry. So I'd like to show you the types of jobs that a typical CFA would own. It's the investment management's designation is similar to a CPA for an accountant. Is that who's heard of what a CPA is, right? So the CFA designation is all about knowledge, all about execution. The most common occupations for CFA charter holders would be Chief Executive Officer, Chief Investment Analysis, Equity Analyst, Fixed Income Analyst, Investment Banker, and Portfolio Manager. I would say that those are the largest numbers that have the CFA designation. I can tell you from a practical standpoint in our industry, if you are working for if you're having one of these jobs, if you're 45 years or younger, 45 years old or younger, you either have your CFA designation or you're getting your CFA designation. That's all there is to it. If you want to be in this industry, if you want to go further, if you want to become a portfolio manager, an analyst, you will earn this. So we have an opportunity here to learn about the investment business, learn about how to analyze stocks, and hopefully, at your choice, if you want to, I'm hopefully going to prepare you to at least sit for the CFA Level 1 exam after taking our courses. So you have an opportunity to double dip, get your college credits, and also possibly earn this designation. The typical companies that employ CFAs, mutual fund managers, brokerage investment companies, investment management counselors to some extent. The last 29 years I've been a portfolio manager for Merrill Lynch and managed money for them here in Williamsville, New York. Unfortunately, in Buffalo, New York, there's probably not a tremendous amount of jobs in that particular area, but most of the CFA jobs would be in the big money centers, New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Miami. That would be where the jobs are at. That's where the money is managed. So these are the companies that typically hire. Department of Labor, Occupational Outlook Handbook recommends the CFA certification for pursuing careers as financial analysts and personal financial advisors. I agree with the first half of that sentence. As far as being an analyst, yes, we will need this. If you are more towards working with individual clients, then maybe the certified financial planning route might be a better way to go. But The types of jobs that are available look something like this. Here we have this company, Waxy Partners. This is a hedge fund. So how many here at least know what a hedge fund is? All right, so hedge fund collects money from private investors and invests it hopefully for a positive return. So they hire chartered financial analysts to research what companies or what investments they're going to make, be placed inside the hedge fund. Here's a job with the United Nations Pension Fund. And they're saying CFA certification or CFA designation is desirable. Well, what this job's all about is that there's $32 billion in the United Nations defined benefit pension plan. And somebody and a team of people have to manage that money. So who are they going to choose? They're going to choose people with an economics background, a financial background, and a CFA designation. And I'm saying to you again, the people that are there either have the CFA designation or are trying to get it. Okay? Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. Here we have a senior credit analyst, senior portfolio manager, emerging market debt. So here we have two credit analysts positions. So what they're doing is they're hiring financial analysts to look at the financial statements of emerging market companies or other companies across the world, maybe the developed market, and is the bond that we can possibly purchase, is it a good price, and are we going to get paid? Will the company default? Will the investment default? So, credit analysts. UBS Switzerland. Here we have a real estate investment and equity analyst looking for a CFA charter. So what this position is an analyst that is looking at real estate investment trusts, stocks, researching them, determining whether they're a good or a bad investment, and then recommending them to the portfolio managers for the inclusion in a portfolio. Every morning at Merrill Lynch when I go to work, there is a live broadcast from New York City. So there'd be a room somewhat like this, but it's broadcasted to all of the offices. And each day they will bring up about 5 analysts, 5 equity analysts. So they might have the auto analyst. The auto analyst will come up and speak on 5 or 6 different companies, or maybe 2 or 3 different companies. Or maybe that day there's news on Ford, and that person will talk on Ford. And they're making recommendations to all the investment advisors and all the portfolio managers. So we're listening to what the person has to say, we're reading their research reports. Typically, the analysts will study, I'd say usually on average 6 or 7 companies. They'll be responsible for 6 or 7 companies within one industry. So similar companies. So they'll get up and give their presentation or read their reports. They're responsible for monitoring these 6 or 7 companies and making recommendations buy, sell, hold to the field. Now, I have earned my CFA designation as a portfolio manager, and it's my choice to listen to their recommendations and build portfolios for the clients. So, both jobs require the CFA for huge help. Here we have New York City Office of the Comptroller. We have another defined benefit plan. So you have your city employees, your fire and police departments. They have a defined benefit plan. The defined benefit plan is, and they're starting to go away, but in the old days, people would work for a company, all right? They'd work there for 30 years, and when they retired, they'd get a gold watch, and they'd get a a stream of money for the rest of their life. Right? And the goal of the company was if they retired at 65, the company would hope they might die at 66. You're supposed to laugh a little bit at that. You know, but it's like Social Security. When Social Security was first started in the 30s in the United States, the first time you could collect the benefit was at age 65. And life expectancy for a male was 66. So I'm not too far off. So that's a defined benefit plan, monthly payments. Well, anyways, there's $32 billion there that has to be funded each year, and money has to be paid out to the retirees. They need somebody to make those investment choices. They're going to look for people with a finance background and a CFA designation. The reason can anyone guess why defined benefit plans are starting to go away, or there's fewer of them?
The 401k is becoming more popular because it's very unemployable.
Absolutely. The 401ks are taking the place. 401k is a defined contribution plan where the employee puts the money in, takes the investment risk, but the money's there. And that's becoming more popular today because the defined benefit plans, the company puts the money in, the company takes the investment risk, and then makes the distributions out. But when the employee dies, the money stays in the pot. Just like Social Security. Well, all of a sudden people started to live till they're 70, 80, 90 years old, and there's fewer and fewer companies that want to take the investment risk. However, there's still money, so it's going to take investment managers to manage those 401k plans and the mutual funds that the money's going into. So it's just going from one pot, to another. So another job there. Then we have, what do I get here? World Bank, senior investment officer, senior asset allocation specialist. There's about 100,000 members as of a couple of years ago. There's 136 societies. In Buffalo, we have the Buffalo Society of CFA. It would be probably a good idea for you to look at their website. They have monthly meetings where they'll bring in investment speakers. I would familiarize yourself with that website. Again, you can Google Buffalo Society of CFA. Also, you should familiarize yourself with the CFA main website, and you'll find it in the handout. Now, in 1993 to June 2008, looking at candidate makeup. So it's gone heavily from U.S. to non-U.S. It's still male, even with an increase. The average age is 31 years old, 30 years old. So I fit that profile pretty much when I took my CFA. I was in my 30s, married, had 3 kids, full-time job, come home on weekends, kids would be crying, try to get them to sleep, try to study for the CFA, all right? Definitely not easy. It's definitely not easy. Oh, furthermore, at age 30, you've forgotten everything you've learned back in college. You forgot how to do standard deviation and all that kind of stuff, right? But I don't know how old you guys are, but you're younger, we'll say on average you're younger than 30. So you haven't forgotten how to do standard deviation. You're going to be able to kill the competition on the quantitative stuff, right? Where a 30-year-old with 7 years, 8 years experience is going to beat you is on the day-to-day practical investment knowledge that you're going to need to pass these tests. And one of the goals of my class is to teach you about the day-to-day stuff that's going on in the marketplace, just like Professor Dr. Chang mentioned. I'd like to spend 15 to 20 minutes per day on what's going on in the investment market. I require, as you see in the syllabus, that you'll know certain statistics, like what the LIBOR rate is, what the S&P is, what the 30-year Treasury bond is. And I want, I want the current numbers. Like, I would be embarrassed if someone asked one of my students, well, what's the Dow right now? Or somewhere near it, and one of our students couldn't answer that question. So we're getting to the point where you're just about ready to go out there and work and make money and manage people's dollars. We got to know this stuff. So my goal is to try to teach the real stuff that's going on, where that 30-year-old has an advantage over you because they've been doing it every single day, right, for the past 8 years. So that is one of the reasons for, all right, the 3-year self-study program, 3 successive courses if you pass all 3 levels. Self-study. But again, you get an opportunity to double dip because you're going to be taking my class, which will dovetail with the questions on the CFA exam, and you're going to be getting your UB credits for economics. So what do we have? We have 3 levels. Knowledge and comprehension of fundamental investment tools and concepts, applications, and level 3, putting it all together. Ethical and professional standards are emphasized at every level. The tests for all 3 levels are June each year. So about the first week in June. So if everything went your way and everything went perfect, you could take level 1 in June 2011, 2012, and 2013. You do the 3 rounds. You obviously must pass level 1 to sit for the level 2 exam. There is a level 1 exam in December, and many people try, full of confidence to do the December exam, level 1, and the level 2 exam in June. Okay? They don't have a December level 2 exam. They don't have a December level 3 exam. The level 1 they offer in December and June. I would highly recommend that you do not do that. I think it's too big of a challenge. I think that it's too much to cram in 4 months. And it will also harm you in taking level 2. So you might win the battle and pass level 2, or pass level 1 in December, fail level 2, in June, and then you're back where you were anyway. I firmly believe in getting a firm foundation with level 1 and spending the entire year. Ethical and professional standards. I've been doing this for about 4 years now, and where I find the weakness of the students is in 2 major areas. One is ethical and professional standards, and that's not to say that students are unethical. It's just that the ethics questions are wordy, and they have a story to them. So you have to read the story, and then you have to find out what's wrong. What went wrong in the story? The answers on level 1 are multiple choice. But you have to read the story. And in order to read the story, you have to know who the players are. Like, a portfolio manager did insider trading. Well, you have to know what a portfolio manager is, what their role is, to be able to answer the question. And maybe that's an oversimplistic question, but I spend a lot of times on the ethics. It is dry and boring. We do it at the end of the year. But we must follow through it because you can't pass the test without it. You cannot pass the test without passing the ethics. As a matter of fact, marginal papers, people that are right on the borderline of passing, where they've done everything else, and there's some question on whether or not they're in or not. If they did well on ethics, often you can get a pass. If they did poor on ethics, you're probably going to get the thumbs down. So I spend time there. The other area of weakness or difficulty is on the accounting side. So I spend this particular class on a great deal on financial statement analysis. The goal of the class at the end is for you to write a research report. quality research report. And you'll also present to the class a quality research report, not to the extent of your paper. Your paper will probably be about 10 pages long. But your presentation to the class is hopefully no more than 10 minutes. The value of that to the students is you're going to learn everything there is to know about that company, and then you're going to listen to 22 other people, and you're going to learn a little bit about 22 companies. Because when all is said and done, if you're in the investment business, if you're a portfolio manager, a hedge fund manager, a pension manager, defined benefit pension manager, you're going to have an understanding or a mental knowledge of about 300 to 400 different companies at any given time. You're going to know about these companies. You're going to be looking at them, reading about them. You may only be analyzing 5 or 6. If you're an analyst, you're going to know about a bunch of other companies. If you're a portfolio manager, you're going to have to know a little bit about them all. The other thing, how do they come up with this test? How do they come up with the test? What they do generally is CFA board sends out questionnaires to all the CFA members that are in industry. So each year I will get a questionnaire. The questionnaire is detailed, and the goal of the questionnaire is to ask me questions about what it takes, what skill set is necessary to do my job. All right? You with me? You're going to send me questions. What is the skill set? What are the tools necessary for someone to do what I do for a living? They'll also be asking that to the other 99,000 people. When they get all of the data in front of them, they come up with a body of knowledge, which turns into the curriculum, and then the curriculum is where they will get the multiple choice questions from to ask you on level 1. So I don't know if this slide's super important. They started this process in 2008. It's a continuous process of what it takes to do our job. So if you're taking this class and you prepare for the CFA exam, you're learning what is necessary to do our job. You are definitely getting on-the-job training, except we're not, we don't get paid. But, so, CFA body of knowledge, quantitative methods. My experience is that I don't spend a great deal of time on a quant. For the most part, you are better at that than I am. Quantitative methods that you probably need a little help with is sometimes they will ask a question like, a person is 30 years old, they want to retire in 25 years, we can assume a 6% rate of return, how much they need $2 million to retire, how much will they put away each year? Questions like that. We don't spend a great deal of time on that. I know that you can crank those numbers out. Economics you should be pretty good at. I would hope that I've never covered economics in any of the classes I taught. But at the end of the year, sometimes we'll get together before the June test, after school's over, and we'll take an old CFA test and kind of go over questions. In my experience, it's been the students don't really have a problem. They do have a problem here. Financial reporting and analysis, equity investments, fixed income, derivatives, alternative investment, portfolio management, and, like I said, the ethics. The CFA body of knowledge and the questions, what you're going to find is they're not super difficult questions. Level 1 is not that deep, but it's like a mile wide. It's an incredibly broad spectrum of questions. It takes somebody very mentally and physically fit to take that test. All right? So, again, you're at the right age to try to do it. It takes somebody very, you're in a room for 6 hours taking, answering 240 questions, and you get, you will get brain numb doing it. Breakdown, this tells you what the breakdown is of the 3 levels. Here's the bad news. Pass rate, 39%. Candidate pass rate of 39% for level 1. That's what it's been for about the last 30 years. And I think a passing grade somewhere around 70% of questions. So everybody in this room is probably used to getting like 100s on every single paper you've ever done in your life, all right? And, top of your class and all that you've done, super, super intelligent. I teach the class at one level, and I grade the class at another level. I think if someone's going to take the CFA exam and spend the money for it, because it's not cheap, I have a moral obligation to teach up here, right? But then there's people in the class that aren't going to take the test, and I need to grade around there. So what I mean to say is there's times I've passed out tests, not to be a bad person, very, very difficult. I'll try to tell the people who's on the test. I'll make the test hard, CFA level hard, and we might come in with a 55, which might be a good grade. All right? And why do I do that? So that when you get your test back, you look at it and say, okay, I'm weak on this area. Right? So that's where we're at on that. The pass rates do increase, but that's because you get a lot of people that quit after level 1. By the time you get to level 3, it's the people that really want to do it. So I'm certain that level 1 people get the books and don't even open them and don't even bother going to the test. Okay, that's what the pass rate might be, 39%. So not important. There's register online, CFA, or download the forms. So how does this all? When you become a CFA charter holder, sequentially pass the 3 tests. You don't have to do them in 3 consecutive years. I think you have up to 6 years to pass. 4 years of acceptable work experience and references, and you have your designation. So that's about it there. This is the syllabus. Now it says 488 and 588 because we do offer it at the 400 level. They just have a different set of requirements. But I just want to show you that. I try to take the questions from typical CFA questions. I want people to know current market value data. And like I said, I do spend about 20 minutes per day on the current market data. Generally what we'll do is we'll review a research report for some company. And I'll show you how someone else has written a report. Here's the textbook. International Financial Statement Analysis by Robinson. Now there's also a class here that I would recommend that you take if you want to take this track, and that would be Economics 504, which is also called Financial Statement Analysis. Again, mine is Financial Economics. But I'm teaching you more from the standpoint of how an analyst would look at a report. So you can get the book wherever you can get it. I use this company called Swayzer. They have a set of slides for $59. There's about 1,500 slides, and each slide is one learning outcome statement, one statement of fact that a person would need to know that is how about this, that each slide represents a possible exam question, okay? Each slide has data on it that's a potential question to be asked, or a series of slides. So the $59 slide book's probably worth it. It's about 1/3 the cost because of the immediate break. It is used in my class. I do not post these slides on Udemy Learns because they're copyright protected. So either buy them. Here's the portal. You can use it, and the slides are good for both my 588 and 589. If a person wants to enroll in the current year CFA exam, you do not need to purchase the textbook. But I would give this some serious thought. I would go to the class for a couple of weeks, try to get a feel for what this is all about before you make the investment, because it is going to be, you know, a significant dollar investment. The other thing with me is I'm really big on this copyright stuff. Like my slides are copyrighted, they're from Swayzer. And if I found someone copying them, stealing data, I would be very, very upset. So far, no one is, it's not happened yet. To take my class, to learn how to do the financial statement analysis, you definitely do not have to take the CFA exam. I don't mean to imply that. So you can certainly take the class without taking the test. Again, the CFA is somewhat outside of UB. My class is inside UB, so it's not a requirement. The core project is that a student will produce a high-quality company research report. For a master's student, I would expect the report to be about 10 pages. 8 pages, 8 to 10. I will give you a template, and you're going to fill the numbers in and write the body of it. And then, like I say, a 5 to 10 minute PowerPoint presentation on the company will present to us a 10-minute buy, sell, or hold recommendation. I'll assign, or I'll give you a list of companies to choose from. So there'll be about 50, 60, 70 companies you can choose from. They're typically large capitalization, S&P 500 type companies. So big names. And that's what the statement should look like. We're going to look at common size income statement and balance sheet, DuPont analysis, return on equity, 3-year trend, cash conversion cycle. That's the stuff I'm looking for. So now there's another reason you should take my class, and that's because I've had 4 students get married. I've been invited to 2 weddings. So I don't really know what the connection is between the economics and people getting married in my class, but I like going to weddings. I've been to one each year. So this is what we'll be doing. I start off with the introduction next week. I'll take a Dell computer 10K report and go over it. Show you what the numbers are. Show you where we get the numbers. UB is fabulous at the databases that they have, and getting into the UB library online and looking at the Standard & Poor reports. I can't tell you how much money that would cost if you had to buy it. So you have investment quality research at your fingertips, so you should be able to do a good job on this. And again, I know that you probably have taken an accounting class and understand what a balance sheet, the cash flow, and financial statement or income statement is. We just look at it from a different way. We look at it from a comparative analysis. You have 2 companies. How do you compare the 2? Which is the better value? Which is at the best price? So we have a saying in our industry when it comes to bonds or stocks, there really isn't any bad stocks or bonds. there's only bad prices. So you can have a beautifully looking financial statement, but if the company's price is too high, it's certainly not a good investment. Would you agree with that? So sometimes the best companies are priced at a level, and the difference with this class is what are we paying for this company, and how does it compare, and is it a good deal? And the frustrating thing with our job is that if you do all of this work and you're thorough, you're going to be wrong about 40% of the time. Okay? So you're not going to understand it. You took all the class, you did all the quad, you did this, and it didn't work. So in this particular class, we do focus on the companies. My next class, 589, we focus on the bigger picture. We focus more on portfolio management. Like, let's take these companies, let's put them in a package, let's manage it. We have a very nice virtual simulator, market simulator. So I ask you to build a portfolio, monitor the portfolio, and have this portfolio be consistent with a hypothetical client's risk profile and risk tolerance. So you're the investment manager. I don't grade on how well the portfolio did over, how long is the semester, 3 months, 4 months? I don't really believe that that's fair. It's, in a lot of ways, it's more luck than skill on a 4-month basis. Although you'll find we'll be very competitive with each other trying to win, because I do post the amounts. We give everybody a hypothetical $1 million and let them build a portfolio. What I'm more interested in, can you build a portfolio consistent with what the client wanted? And picking 588 is good because you're going to listen to 25 stock presentations and you'll determine whether you want to include them in your portfolio next semester. So we have fun. We have a good time. I enjoy it very, very much. I've gotten great ideas from students. And at the end, last 2 weeks, I start doing the CFA. So that's about all I